The story begins in a small village in Malawi, South Africa, where people are seen farming peacefully. Suddenly, one of the men collapses from a heart attack and dies. His brother Trewell is deeply devastated by the loss. Villagers perform traditional rituals to honor the deceased. Trewell returns home to his wife, daughter, and young son William Ann, exceptionally talented boy who has a knack for repairing radios. William spends much of his time helping neighbors fix their radios. At school, the principal warns students that those who haven't paid their fees will be expelled. William's family is financially struggling, so his father hasn't been able to pay the fees. His class teacher, who has a crush on William's sister, tells him he must pay soon or leave. William, who loves learning, knows his father can't afford the tuition and feels disheartened. His mother wants him to help out in the fields instead. At night, William asks his mother for lamp oil to study, but she refuses, needing the oil for household work. The next day, William visits a junkyard and finds a pump and a battery, hoping to use them to power a bulb so he can read at night. Meanwhile, people from a company arrive in the village, offering money to cut down the surrounding trees. The village chief refuses, explaining that the trees protect their fields from floods. Trewell agrees, but many desperate farmers still sign the deal due to poverty. Soon, deforestation begins. Later that night, William asks his father for school fee money again, but Trewell tells him to wait until after the harvest. William becomes increasingly frustrated. At school, he notices his teacher's bike has a working light powered not by batteries, but by a dynamo connected to the wheel, which fascinates him. Eventually, William and others are expelled for unpaid fees. Around the same time, heavy rains destroy his father's crops, worsening their situation. Trewell visits a friend for help, but is advised to save his money due to looming drought conditions. William, determined to help, returns to the junkyard and finds 2 dead batteries. He decides to repair them and power the pump he found earlier to irrigate the crops during the dry season. Wanting to understand how dynamos work, he sneaks into school and questions his teacher, who tells him it's possible to build one by studying energy-related books in the library. However, since William is no longer enrolled, he can't access the library. He blackmails the teacher by threatening to reveal his secret relationship with William's sister, forcing him to grant access. Inside the library, William finds all the resources he needs to build a dynamo. Meanwhile, the president visits the village. The village chief takes the opportunity to plead for help, but is brutally beaten by the president's men, who only care about votes, not the villagers' problems. Of course, here's your full asterisk long emotional, cinematic. 1 paragraph English translation asterisk of the story segment you've provided. William's father realizes that no one is coming to save them, and if anything must be done, he will have to do it himself. Burdened by this realization, he harvests what little is left of their crop, barely enough to last them 2 months. He has no idea how they will survive beyond that. Desperate, he removes the tin roof from their house to sell it at the market. There, he hears a radio report warning that the price of grain will soon skyrocket due to national shortages. It's an announcement that terrifies everyone. But in truth, it's a ploy by corrupt government officials manipulating the crisis for profit. William's father, disillusioned, joins a protest rally with the opposition party. We're speaking out against the government while he is away. 2 government trucks arrive in the village, distributing subsidized grain to the people. William's mother gives him money and sends him to buy food. But in his absence, thieves break into their home and steal all the grain they had harvested and stored. When William returns with a small sack of food, his father also arrives and grimly announces they will have to survive on 1 meal a day. The family is now on the brink of starvation. That night, William approaches his sister and gently says he knows she is in love with his teacher. He begs her to ask for the dynamo from the teacher's bicycle. He wants to use it to power a motor pump that could bring water to their fields. His sister says nothing, but the next day, William returns home to find she has run away with the teacher, leaving behind the dynamo as a parting gift. Heartbroken but driven, William attaches the dynamo to a homemade windmill and powers a radio, amazing his friends. Encouraged, the boys scour the junkyard for more parts. but William knows he'll need a much larger windmill to power a water pump hand. For that, he needs a bicycle. Demonstrates his mini windmill to his father and explains his plan to build a large one capable of pumping water year-round. But to do so, he needs his father's bicycle, and once it's used, can't be ridden again. He's furious at the thought of losing his only means of transport. His father smashes William's windmill and scolds him for wasting time, demanding he focus on farm work instead. William, disheartened, starts helping his father in the fields as they and the rest of the village grow weaker from hunger. One evening, he sees his friends preparing to leave the village in search of food elsewhere. William begs them to stay, convincing them they can build a windmill big enough to save their crops in future. Together, they return to his father to ask for the bicycle, but he angrily sends them away. Meanwhile, William's mother receives news of her own mother's death, plunging her into deep grief. To make matters worse, William's beloved dog dies of starvation, a loss that devastates him. At last, seeing his son's pain and determination, William's father breaks down and confesses he sees no other way. He gives his blessing and offers his bicycle, saying, "If you believe this pump will bring water, take it." With his father's support, William dismantles the bicycle to use its parts for the windmill. And as hope slowly begins to rise, the entire village watches. The boy's dream become their only chance at survival. Let me know if you'd like the final part continued in the same style. Everyone comes together to build the windmill. They gather large wooden planks and construct a massive windmill, connecting it to a bicycle. As the windmill blades rotate, the bicycle wheel also turns, which is linked to a dynamo. Their goal is to use this setup to charge a battery. While everyone heads out to work in the fields, the battery begins to charge. Eventually, the charged battery powers a water pump, with a pipe inserted deep into the well. Soon as they are working in the fields, they notice water beginning to flow into the land. The moment fills everyone with immense joy. Something they had never imagined was now a reality. This was a task no one believed could be achieved. But William did it through his self-belief, relentless hard work, and dedication. His father embraces him with pride and emotion. Sometime later, it is shown that crops have started growing again in William's field and across the village. Thanks to William's invention, they can now grow crops regardless of the season. William climbs the windmill once again and looks out over the entire village and its fertile fields. The news of his success spreads quickly. When his school hears about it, they reward him with a lifetime scholarship, meaning he can now study without ever worrying about tuition fees. And with that, this inspiring true story of William comes to an end. Let me know in the comments which movie you'd like to hear the story of next. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more such amazing stories. Music fades.